Oh, well,
All right, hello. My name is Darren Hudson. I'm one of the AMA District 1 New England Associate Vice Presidents. Filming me is my colleague, Doug Thompson, also an AVP here in New England. And we are at the Epping Seacoast United Three-Step Sports indoor soccer field. Team member Wayne Watches, president of the Fremont Flyers, has commandeered here or cultivated. Last year, fellow AVP John Yasamidis and I, we've been in the hobby our whole lives, and we started with control line flying. And we said, what's another way we can get people with an ease of entry into the hobby during our demonstrations when we do our outreach events at airports and air shows and whatnot? That's not going to have a big impact size-wise, but it's going to offer some fun, some ease of entry, some low price, avoid the federal government issues, all that regulatory stuff. So we said, what if we could take our EPP foam airplanes that's set up for RC and convert it to control line, and vice versa? Get that foamy kit and just set it up for control line first, and then have the option to make it RC. We asked the PAMPA, the Precision Aerobatic Pilots Association, Control Line Aerobatics, SIG, to help us out. They're more emphasized in competition, like most of our SIGs. You might have seen in the recent Model Aviation magazine from AMA, there was a scale control line conversion of ARF RC airplanes. Again, leaning towards the competition of scale. So we wanted to step it back one more step to entry level. Somebody who's never done it, or like the guys in here, nostalgic. I haven't flown control line for 45 years. And when I first tried it in an outreach event with Jim Berry from Tampa last year, I had a ball. So I said, wow, can we emulate this and make it even easier and cheaper? So what I want to introduce you to is, this is Twisted Hobbies MXSC, designed by our buddy Cody Wojcik. I had this one available, set up for RC, been flying it for years. And I said, well, let me make this one our Frankenstein prototype. I took the RC setup with an RC air receiver, all set up for RC, and what I've done is added a bell crank with a push rod that has given me my elevator control. We've deflected the rudder for a little pull. We're using some basics here on our maidens and our prototype. We've pinned it. And what we've done today is we've done 2 test flights. And so far we have successful videos of the flying. And what we're gonna try and refine is the pull needs to be a little bit more. It's completely flyable the way it is. But we're gonna induce a little bit of roll with our ailerons to try and make it level. And we might add a little wingtip weight as well. So we've unplugged the ailerons and the rudder in the elevator. We've disconnected the elevator push rod, and that can be attached in minutes. And we've been using about half throttle for this 3-cell setup. It's a 3-cell 450 milliamp battery. The throttle control that we're using is with a surface transmitter. There are different options that we're considering. This one seems to be the most feasible, and we're trying to get it to be an easily transitioned way to go about it for the beginner. For the hobbyist that's here, they can do this little transition with a spring and whatnot. Sure. That's an easy project. But for the beginner, we're trying to get an easy entry. So we've gotten 2 or 3 flights out of it so far. We've dampened the controls because it was too maneuverable. So we're trying to get it so it's less maneuverable. And even in this indoor gym with a 20-foot line, we could probably do aerobatics with it. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to get people who haven't done it in years to just fly around in a circle and have a smile and introduce people in a confined space. So 20-foot ring, you can go out there and you can introduce them to aero bombing. And that's our whole point. And we're going to get a little footage right now of flying at RC. And what we've done, since this is entry level and beginner to start, we've set our low rates on very low, 20 to 25% on all the surfaces. So I'm going to fly this on those low rates. And we'll get a video of the sticks. It's very similar to what a safe airplane would feel like without the auto leveling, of course, because this is not a safe receiver. Now, if somebody wanted to set one of these up with a safe receiver, absolutely can do that. So that's another option. I'm going to give it a little demo, so just so you can see that it's flying low rates on everything. And I'm just going to fly it around really mundane. There we are, takeoff. And if Doug gets on the sticks, he can see what I'm doing here with the controls. Not much control input, and it's flying, I would call it very mundane and beginner, and it'll even go a little hands off. I'm going to let go here. See that? Half throttle, hands off. And it's doing a pretty good job. That was just full elevator. I'll do a full elevator turn here to show. So that's full elevator. So it's really flying very similar to the way it's going to fly control line. And that's another goal, having a similar experience so that when we do want to go RC, they'll have a similar sim. All right, I'm going to land it. We're trying to also get manufacturers to reintroduce this type of entry-level control line. For those old enough, think Cox and not competition. And that's our goal. We, who started out with Cox airplanes, 049 airplanes, would spend hours and hours in a cul-de-sac playing, experimenting, burning the glow fuel. And now we can do it with electric motors, make a lot less noise for our neighbors, and have something that's affordable and also versatile to grow into. And we're really excited, as you can tell, that we got something flying. And we've got Jay Davison here, and Jay's story is he came to us, we met him here at the Indoor Flying, and he saw us messing around with the control line version. And Jay, you said you flew control line as a teenager, right?
I did. I flew in Vermont, and I flew in competition.
And what kind of competition were you doing?
I was doing combat and stunt, and actually did balloon busting also.
Okay, so Jay's got some experience. Nice. Jay made a comment to me, and I'll let him quote himself, but he was going around and it's a little rough on the first lap, and then he got locked in. I said, wow, you really locked in. And then he said to me
that it's like bringing back memories, because I hadn't flown control line in probably 40 plus years. And I felt like a teenager again.
And that is what we're about on this nostalgic part of this project. The other part is the beginner. So the other thing that Jay's got going for him for us is he's never flown an EPP foamy RC. So he's not a beginner RC pilot, but he can give us an impression of what the EPP foamy is going to fly like. I've dampened down these controls considerably. Only put these all on low rates. So very little aileron, very little elevator, and very little rudder. Very docile. So we're going to give the transmitter to Jay, and this is first time he's flown an EPP foamy. Like I said, it's going to be very docile. And EPP foam has a lot more joy too. It's really fun.
Yeah, I think it's like very easy to fly.
All right, that's awesome. So if we said to you, you're a beginner and you buy it for control line only, but you got the ability to go to remote control, would you think that would be a reasonable thing to offer somebody as a fairly beginner?
Absolutely. I felt really comfortable flying first time because I know how incredible durable they are. Right. So I felt like if I got out of control with it, and it did come down, and I knew it was going to take right back off.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay, cool. And then how about the other end, which you're actually closer to now that you've flown it a little bit. Now you're an RC guy who has the nostalgia from control line. You can have some fun with it, control line, but then you can also convert it right back to RC in minutes.
Absolutely. One of the things with the control line that I had to get used to is the throttle control.
Right.
Because we didn't have that in the 70s.
Right. Yep. I remember that. That's the way I learned too. 049, and whatever it was, you started it up, you had full power until the gas ran out, and that was that. Thanks very much, Jay. We really appreciate your help with this. It's instrumental. I look forward to some more videos and some more activity with it. Thanks, Doug. Thank everybody, and give control line a try because it's a fun way to spin around in a circle.